want to work with multiple, so if you want to work with multiple people, okay. So if you want to work with multiple people with your team to do a project, you will do changes, and then your other friend will also do changes. But how can you all keep up with the changes that's going on? You're not gonna go send your folder every time on WhatsApp to your friend, and here you go, you can now edit to it and then send it back to me when you do. That's very inefficient, and there is too much redundant code, and you don't know where to keep your track where you actually ended last, like which is actually the latest version of the project. So here comes Git and GitHub to the rescue. The flow goes by the local repository programmer one, and you have multiple local repositories, which are also other programmers. So all they do is they copy the code from the remote repository. So the main source is going to be the remote repository, and all the other programmers will be pulling the code from there to have it on their local machines. Next slide. Actually, it should be opposite. Okay, so one programmer, once he's done with doing all of the changes, he can then commit and then push them to the remote repository. Fear not, the terms might be confusing. Commit and push, what are these terms? You will find out in the later slides. But for now, you're making the changes by committing and pushing these changes from programmer one to the remote repository. And then go back one slide back. Okay, and it's okay, sorry, just go continue next. The other one. Yes. So when the programmer one pushed the new changes to the remote repository, now the other users wants to use it so they can do their part and implement their own features. So what they're going to do is just pull all the new code that is pushed by programmer one to programmer 2, 3, and 4. And basically, this is the overall workflow of Git and GitHub. Next slide. Git history and Git branches. Git history, we're not referring to the background information about Git, but what is actually Git history? You'll find out. Next. So just a quick note that a commit, just now that we mentioned it, is making changes to the code, and you save that as a checkpoint in case anything goes wrong. So while you're creating your code, you might face an errors, which is really very common. But in order to save yourself from these errors and actually have a safe point to go back, you commit your changes. So commit is also a fancy word for the phrase checkpoint, where if you have different changes you can commit them so you can have a checkpoint. If in the future any problem happens, you can roll back to your checkpoint, aka the commit. Next slide. GitHub, as I said, is the service platform that is providing us the capability to host our code and projects on the cloud or on the server. And it helps us to keep track of all of the commits that have been done from our partners and our commits as well, and all the pushes that have been pushed to GitHub. Next. Okay, so now that I've just explained the flow earlier in general terms, now we're going to go more into the technical phrases and actually know what each phrase means. So once again, you know the flow. One programmer does the changes and then pushes it up to the cloud or GitHub. So push up is the process of making the changes, committing them, and then sending your changes from your local machine to the remote repository. And the second term, when your teammate takes the new code pushed to the remote repository, he's going to pull it down he's going to get that copy, the new copy, by the phrase or the process that is called pull down from the remote repository. So pushing, once again, pushing is pushing your changes to the remote repository. Oh my God, the terms are so long. Okay, I'm gonna short down repository to repo. Okay, that's a easier and cooler way to say. So once you do your changes, once again, you push them to the remote repo. And then if you want to get the new changes, you pull them down from the repo. Next slide. Okay, branches. So a branch is literally right now presented to you with this vector or arrow, whatever you want to call it. This is your entire coding timeline from the beginning of your from your project until the end or current right now present. Yeah, so if you see these yellow dots, these are a visual representation of your commits, your checkpoints. So if you're somewhere on the present and you want to go back because you did a mistake, you can go back to any commit you want to go to. One more amazing thing, next slide, Qaim. You can have multiple branches. You can create a new branch to create a new feature. And this is one of the most used cases for branches. When you want to have a new feature, you implement it in a new branch so you don't interrupt the main or master branch. And just a quick heads up, master branch is just the older naming of the main branch, but GitHub decided to change it to make it main in today's projects that are any recent projects that are made. But if you work in like a company, for example, and then you see that their branch name is not main and it's master, that means this project is really old and like they created long time ago on GitHub. Yeah. So when you have this branch and you created it just for this feature, any changes that are going to be done in this new branch will not be in the main branch or the master. We're going to call it main for now, the main branch. And that is for not to interrupt as I said, interrupt the main flow of the main project. And you can do any mistakes you want in this branch, implement any features without interrupting that. And once you're done with your implementation for the new feature in the new branch, you can merge it back to the main branch again. Okay, so too much branches and too much mains. Next slide. So one more another thing that is actually going to confuse you is you can have a new branch in your new branch. So if let's say your new feature that you want to implement has sub features, like let's say for example you want to make a new menu, and then each menu has also some few features in the menu. So you can also create a new branch so you don't interrupt the development of the entire menu, which respectively won't interrupt the flow of the entire project. Next slide. Okay, Git setup. Chill, bro. Okay, so further on, you can see this link. Qaim further on will use it for the hands-on, and you'll see how he's going to do it. So don't worry about the link for now. So let's set up Git on your local machine. Next. Okay, now, if I was just teaching you the fundamentals of programming, right now I'm going to teach you the syntax of the programming language you're trying to learn. So these are actual command lines that are going to help you, or without them, you can't even use Git. Or actually you can, because Git nowadays, since we are developing really fast, can be either done, this virtual control system, the Git thing, can be done either by GUI, which is graphical user interface, like, you know, it's a window and then you click things and it will do all the work for you, or you can do it the cool way, the hacker way, from your terminal. And in GDSC, we always want to teach you the correct thing. So we'll definitely teach you how to do it with the terminal first, and then we'll give you a quick view on how to do it with the GUI because it's really easy. Okay, so first steps, what to do. You have to change your directory in the terminal to go to the directory. Again, if you don't know what's directory, it's the same thing as repository, which is also a fancy phrase for project or the folder you want to work in, or your project folder. So in the terminal, you're going to proceed yourself to the folder you want to work on. So you use the command cd, and anything underlined is just a variable. So like directory name can be changed to anything you want to go to. So in our scenario, it is cd desktop. So you're going to go to the desktop folder. And there in the desktop, you definitely don't want to make your project in the desktop. You need to make like a folder inside the desktop. So the command for that is mkdir, which stands for make directory, or like create directory. And you pass down the variable, which is the folder name. In our case scenario is going to be make dir test repo. Next slide, Qaim. Okay. So this right here, this very small command has this entire slide just for it. You might be wondering why, because it's really essentially the most important command in the entire Git workflow, because without it, you won't be able to do any further commands that are going to be taught next in this workshop. So git init. While you're inside the repository, the directory we just made, which is test repo, you're going to hit this command, git init. And init stands for initialize. So you're basically initializing the folder to become a Git repo. Next slide, Ryan. Okay, demo part 1. So we're going to divide it into 3 demos so you don't forget actually what each command does. So with each set of commands, we're going to show you how it works, and then we'll further proceed to the next set of commands. All right, the floor is yours, Qaim. Go ahead.
Right. Thanks for
Shine.
that. So now we're gonna do our demo. All right. Okay. So firstly, what we need to do is install it. Okay. So I already sent you guys the link on the chat. So I'm gonna copy myself the link and then open it here. So from here, you guys can download Git. So according to your device, choose appropriately. For my device, it's the standalone installer 64 gigabyte Git for Windows setup. Okay, so this is how you just download this. So I already downloaded it before, so I'm going to show you guys on my desktop. Okay, so it's in downloads, and then it's gonna be a folder like this. So what you need to do is just click on it, and then okay, wait a bit. And then after this, you just click install and then next until it's done. Okay, here you just click next, and then all of this next. Just click next, and then install. And then we wait. I already downloaded a Git version last time, so I'm just reinstalling it for this purpose. But then it's okay. You can reinstall it anytime you want. The what do you call it? The settings will not change from previously. Yeah. 1 second installation, guys. Yeah. Just
Don't
click
worry,
next.
guys. Don't worry.
If you guys are hardcore and you guys want to read through the settings, you guys can. But for me, I'm too lazy to read, so let me just click next.
And then suddenly your Git doesn't work on your computer.
It will work. I promise you, it will work. I hope. If it doesn't work, you guys go to Stack Overflow. Okay.
Guys, feel free to meditate while you were waiting for this to. Okay, it's done.
Okay, it's almost done. There's a bit more. Okay, so
Yeah.
guys,
Okay.
yeah, I'm gonna unclick that, or no, I will go to another window. Okay, so we already installed it. So I'm gonna show you guys Visual Code, and then I'm gonna show you guys the directory that I'm gonna use for today, which is in users and desktop. And then there's only this file, right? There's nothing. So we're gonna create a file inside this directory. So how we're going to do that is we go to Windows, and then we click here command line, a command prompt or command line depends on your PC. So here you have this cool looking hacking type tool, right? So what you need to do is right now it's in the directory of users, but we want to be in desktop. So what we do is cd desktop and then click enter. And you can see here it already adds desktop. So next we want to create the repository that we mentioned just now. So how do you do that? Is by typing npm _repo. You can name it anything you want, but I'm gonna name it test repo. And then empty is thinking make directory, and then you click enter. And then now you already made the repository. As you can see from the file just now, test repo suddenly appear, right? Because you made it from the command prompt. Okay, so what we need to do is we need to be inside test repo directory. So how we do that? The same, change directory, but this time test repo. cd test _repo and then enter. Now we're in test repo. This is how you know your location most of the time. So now we're going to check the status. This one will be explained later in the basic of Git commands, but I'm going to show you guys now. Git status. So just see the status of the repo. So not a Git repository. So we haven't initialized it yet. Therefore, it says here it is not a Git repository. So how we do that is we use Git init. Make sure you are in the correct location. This one I'm already in the correct location that I wanted it to be a Git repo. So what it does is for you guys for your information, this is a warning. So everything inside the folder when you do Git init, you initialize Git, right? Git will track. So for security reasons, depends on what type of folder, but most of the time no one cares. So you just click yes. And then it will say initialize empty Git repository. So it says it's working technically. This is how you know it's working. Okay, so now we'll go to our basic. Okay, now we'll go to back to our workshop, which is on our basic Git commands by Sajjad. Sajjad, the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you very much, Qaim. I think you should have showed them the Git status again, so it shows them what actually happened, but it's okay. Okay, basic Git commands. The second set of commands that we're going to teach you, which next slide. After successfully initializing your folder to make it your Git repository, now we need to add files to it. Because come on, what is a project without any file? So we use the command git add, and git add just is literally self-explanatory, and git is for get and add is just to add, and then you give the variable pass the file name you want to create. Sorry, I mean to add. And git add dot is another command that will ease your life. So if rather than just manually typing in every single file name, you can just add all the files you have by just replacing the file name with dot. And after adding a file, you're gonna have to commit, which is our very fancy name ever since the beginning of this workshop, git commit, to make your changes a checkpoint so you can go back to in the future if you did any mistakes. But in our industry life or like work life, we never use git commit on its own, because we use an enhanced one, which is git commit with a message. So next slide. Okay, so before committing your things, you have to check the status. Just now, by Qaim introduced, he said that if you want to check the status of your repository now or what's going on with your changes, you hit git status, which is git, and you show the status of your git. And after checking and making sure the files are added, the correct files are added to your checkpoint, the staging area, you are going to commit your messages, your changes. And you're going to use the command git commit -m and then pass your message, and make sure your message is not longer than 50 characters, because that's going to be an error. So what is this message here? Message is basically a title for this checkpoint. So in the future, when you want to go back to to a commit or a checkpoint you made, you need to see what this commit is all about. Like, for example, if you finished implementing the shopping cart functionality, for example, you say that git commit -m between the double quotation, you say, okay, implemented the shop cart functionality, and then you hit enter. Then when it's up to the remote repository, you can track down by the messages. You can see that, okay, so this checkpoint is for this checkpoint is for this. But a good advice and tip, please use meaningful messages, because if you're just going to put random stuff, you're basically just forcing yourself to put the message. And in the future, if you want to go back, you're not going to understand what's going on. So once you do that, next slide. Then once you'll know about that later. Okay, so create branch. Now we just mentioned about branches and how they work and what is their functionality and use case. It's time to create our branches, and using the command git checkout -b if you want to create a new one, and you pass the branch name. So as an example, you have git checkout -b new branch, for example, or new feature or whatever you want to call it, like payment module, whatever your case scenario is. And if you already have a specific branch and you just want to go to it without creating a new one, you just use the command git checkout without the -b. And then you pass the branch name you have. Next slide, Qaim. Okay, so now I've taught you every single command one by one, but now it's time to understand how they all work together. So this picture from an online tutorial that we find, I really found this really helpful when I was learning Git. So we're going to start from left to right. So we have the working directory from the left, and we end up by the remote repository on the right, which is either GitHub, Bitbucket, GitLab. So start from the left. On our local machine, we have our files of the project, whether it's a web application, whether it's a mobile application, and even if you're developing games. Just now, somebody asked in the chat box, it's the same thing. Doesn't matter what your project content is, as long as you treat it as a project. And the process is very similar, and everything is literally the same. So in our scenario, we have HTML, CSS, JavaScript. So after having these files in your working directory and doing changes to them or creating them, you use the git add command to take these files to the staging area. The staging, by its name, means you're selecting which one you want to be able to make it eligible for this checkpoint you want to create. So when you add them, they're going to be added to the staging area. And in the staging area, once you added all the files you want, you can commit them to create your checkpoint using the git commit. So now, after hitting the git commit uh, command, it is going to take all the files in the staging area and pass it to the commit history. And commit history is literally the same as I just showed you in the branch, where it has these yellow dots. Basically, these yellow dots are the commit history, and you can go to roll back to which one you want if any problems happened once again. So once you have your commit history on your local machine, everything is on your local machine right now, you will use the command git push. Once again, git push will take these files from your local machine and changes, and then pushes them to the remote repository. So remember, it's always git add, and then git commit, and then git push. So next will be Qaim showing you the hands-on for these just basic command lines we just gave you. So go ahead, Qaim.
Right. Thank you for that. Okay, now we'll go to the interesting part, kind of, I guess. So here, I'm going to show you guys another trick. So there's a lot of stuff here, right? So if you want to clear screen, you just click on TLS and then it will clear your screen for you, but you're still in the same repo. Okay, but if you click on X and then like you enter again, it's going to be on the default directory, which says users user. Okay, so now I'm going to start with git commit to check if it's like everything okay. I'm in branch and then initial commit, nothing to commit yet. I don't have like any files in our test repo right just now. So what we need to do is we need to create files. So from here, we need to open VS Code for any IDE you want. So I'm going to open my folder and then I'm going to go to desktop where my, oh, this is the wrong desktop. Okay, C, and then users, user. It depends on which repo that you're using. So we're using test repo, right? So I'm going to like select folder. Okay, so now we're going to create a new file called readme.md. Yeah, here, there you go. Okay, now I'm going to like put here hashtag hi or something, anything you want. Okay, hashtag hi. And then I'm going to click on Control S to save. And then we go back to our command line, which is we need to add the file that we just created just now, right? The readme.md. So how do you guys do that? Is by using the git add command. So git add readme.md. So this one is more a specific that you want to add. So I want to add only the readme.md. So I'm going to like put the name there and then click on enter. Right, enter. Okay. Okay. So I already like I accidentally clicked twice. Anyways, now we need to check the status. So how do you do that? It's git status. See like if it's done already. So here you can see no commit yet because we haven't set commit anything yet. But we have here new file with me. So changes to be committed. So it's recommending us for us to commit it. So what we do is we need to commit it. Git commit and then -m or -m and then your double quotation marks and then put a message there. I'm gonna like put a meaningful message which is added readme.md, which I just did just now, or readme.md, and then click on enter. This is the description that you want. Make sure it is under 50 characters. And then here is this is the, what do you call it? Commit ID, if I'm not mistaken. This is the name. And then like the message that we want. And then like this is what the commit does. All right. So now after we already commit, we need to check the status again just to see if it's the same if that's status. Here you can see one file changed. Here on branch master, nothing to commit, working tree clean, because we already like committed here, so it wouldn't give us the same message. All right, so now we'll go back to our VS Code. So from here, we're gonna add a new line. I'm gonna add like hello or something, and then we save Control S, and then we go back to our command line. I'll clear the screen then. Okay. The git status if it detects there's a change or not. So here they say like modified readme.md. So they detect our change just now. So now we need to do the same process again, but I'm going to show you guys another way to add by using a dot to add all the files. So git add dot. Just now we specify which file we want to add, right? So if you guys use dot, it's gonna select all the files and then like send it. Okay, this one is for all the files. So this one is much more easier. Just click on enter, and then already done. So we check the status again. Git status. And it says modified readme. So it means that our commit has worked. Now we need to give the commit a message. Git commit the and then a message which is make changes to readme.md. Enter. So this is the stuff that it says as now, the name of it, the ID, and all the details. Okay, so now we're gonna make a branch, a new branch. So how do you make a new branch? Is by using this command, git checkout -b, and then the name of the branch. I'm gonna name my branch new. Just to be simple. I'm gonna name it new. You guys can name it anything you want, but I'm gonna name it new. Here we already got the switch to a new branch, new. So now we're in our new branch. So now here is actually our new branch. So I'm gonna edit it. I'm gonna edit our new branch by saying new branch and then saving it. And then now we're gonna add this to our repo by git add. So it already added it. Now we're gonna give it a commit message. Commit -m first commit on new branch. That's the comment that I want to see, the message that I want to put. You can put any message you want. So here you can see, okay, it's already done. It's successful. Now we can change to our master branch. Okay, this one is the cool part. So you can see here, it's like new branch, right? So now I'm going to make it disappear because like our master branch doesn't have the fifth line. So I'm going to show you guys the master branch. How you go back to master branch is by git checkout master. Okay. So by using git checkout master, you can go back to master branch. Okay, now it says switch branch to master. Can you see that? It does automatically disappear the fifth line because our master doesn't have that new line, but our branch does. So I'll show you again. Git checkout new. The branch name is not right. And then it appears. That means like the branch actually has a new stuff in it. So we go back to master. Checkout master. Okay. Now we're in the master branch in our VS Code, right? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add a new file called s.py. I think, yeah, s.py. And I'm gonna add like I'm gonna like save it, and I'm gonna add something inside it, which is all right. Okay, I'm gonna go back to command prompt, and then from here, TLS again. So I'm gonna add the file that I just created, which is s.py, by using git add. Well, so I already like added this into our master branch. So here I'm gonna check the status again just to see if it's working or not. Yeah, it works. I already like send the test.py. So now we're gonna copy it and then give it a message so that people will know what we did just now. Test.py. Okay, so that one is also done. Now, how do we get the changes since this one is in the master branch, right? So we want to get the changes into the new branch. So how do we do that? So what we need to do is we need to go to our new branch first by using git checkout new. And then we already switched to new branch. You can see here there's no test.py, right? So what you how do you get that file just now from the master branch is using merge. So it's git merge master. So this one depends. If you want to merge with master, you do master. If you want to merge with another branch, you just change it to another branch name. Okay. And then now we just click on enter. And then merge made by org strategy. So this one, it says like it works out. So technically it works. And you can see just now we got like test.py. So it works. So now I'm gonna like change the directory to master git. See if it's like reflection or not. Oh, yep, it's the same. So it means that it works. So now I'm gonna go pass back to Sajat on uh, how to connect the remote repo to the local repo. Sajat, you can start.
Okay, thank you, Qaim. And now that all of our changes are still in our local machine, there's no use of it if we're working with other people. So we need to push it to the remote repo. Next slide. Okay, so before pushing any changes you have to the remote repo, first of all, you have to identify who are you that you're pushing this stuff. And small configuration that you need to do only once, and then you'll never ever have to do them ever again. But they're very important, and there are some few tricks that you should actually comply with. And the command is straight to the point: git config, which config stands for configuration, and then you configure your user.name. So you configure your username. You can put any username you want. It's up to you because it will stay on your local. But the second one, which is git config dash global user.email, you need to use the same email you use for your GitHub or any other platform you're using for your account. So if your account for GitHub uses, for example, test@gmail.com, you need to put it here, test@gmail.com. And depending if you're using any other platforms, for example, Bitbucket, GitLab, whatsoever. So an example for that would be just changing the username. For example, if my name is someone, then I'll just say git config dash dash global user.name between double quotation, which is very important, someone. And if my email, the same process, just say that someone@gmail.com. Remember, use the email that you're using for your account because they're going to be linked together. Okay, next slide. Now we're done with identifying who we are. Now we have to just connect it between the local repo and the remote repo. And then we'll be able to push our changes. So to connect it, you have to do this only once every time you start a new project, or you just clone another project from the GitHub. You just have to do this once. And it is git remote add origin and then the URL or the link of your repo. Now it might be very confusing and you have to memorize it, but if you're not, you don't have to memorize anything. You can just search that how to connect local repo to remote repo on Google, and then literally the command will pop up. So you don't need to memorize everything, but by using it a lot of times, you'll just know it like it's your name basically. So I'm going to explain the command because when you understand it, it's going to be easier to remember it. So as usual, we start by git, and then the next one is remote. So we're saying here that, okay, in git, we want to manipulate the remote functionality in git. And what do you want to do? We want to add a new repository to connect it. And what do you want to call this repository? Usually, and this is the standard in the industry, we always call it origin. So basically it's the center of everything, the origin. And then where is this origin? And you give the URL of your repository basically. So once again, git, and then inside the remote, I want to add a new repository. I want to call it origin. What does origin stand for? It stands for the origin, like the repository, the remote repository you want to connect to, and then you provide the link you want. So now that you're connected, after hitting enter, of course, you will now want to push your changes from your local to the remote. So you go with very simple command, which is git push origin, and then the branch name you want to push or the changes you have just done. So again, I'm going to explain it. So git is git, and what you're going to do, you want to push. Where do you want to push? You want to push to origin. And remember, origin is just a reference to the link you just provided. So https github.com/test repo. So instead of just typing this every single time, https, the URL is going to be quite tedious. So we give it a reference variable or name, which is origin. And then you just say git push origin, and then you provide the branch name that is going to be pushed to the remote repository. Next. Okay, so now that you pushed your changes, Qaim will try to simulate like any changes that happened from another teammate that in your team. Like for example, he modified the files in the remote repository. He will also show you how you're going to pull these changes back to your repository, your local machine, and you can manipulate them as well, and then push them again back and forth between your friend, pushing, pulling, pushing, pulling, pushing, pulling. So the pulling command is get pull origin the branch name. It's straightforward, just like the push. So what you're gonna do, get, what do you want to do with get? I want to pull. Where do you want to pull from? Origin. Once again, origin is a reference to the link or to the URL of your branch. And which branch do you want to pull from the remote repository? You provide the name as a variable, and it changes depending on what the branch you're in. And always make sure you're in the correct branch that you want to pull your changes to. Okay, next. Next is the demo part 3, and it is also the final part of the demo. But also, we're going to have a small, cheeky bonus trick for you guys who stayed at the end. And Qaim is going to tell you about it. So, Qaim, it's your time to shine. Make us proud.
Hey, thanks. So now it's technically our final part of the demo, but according to Sajai, he already leaked out that we're gonna have like something special for you guys at the end. Okay, so now what we need to do is we need to go dashboard and then like our command line. I'm gonna clear screen again because it's too much. Now we're gonna like do the global config where we're connecting to our remote report. So Git, it's important that you guys have a GitHub account. So you guys need to make a GitHub account before doing this, or you could you guys couldn't connect. So firstly, user.name. This one you can name anything you want. So for me, I'm gonna give my name lah. My name is Koi. Okay. So I'm gonna click on enter. I already give myself this. Now we need to give myself like email to connect with my GitHub email. User email, and then you just give your email here. I'm gonna like at gmail.com or something, anything that's related to your GitHub. But I'm not gonna click on empty because I already set this up before. Therefore, like just do not set it up 2 times because it's gonna like make your GitHub be weird and the configuration a bit off. So only once. So I already done it, so I'm not gonna do this. But if you haven't done that, you need to do that in order to connect. Now we're going to go to GitHub to see. I'm gonna go to GitHub, github.com. Okay, so this is my GitHub. So what I need you guys to do is create a GitHub account. I'm assuming you guys already have a GitHub account. If you guys don't have, you just create it. And then what you need to do is you click on this, the plus icon on the right here, and then you click on new repository. Okay, so now we have a new repository, and then you guys can name your repository anything. I'm going to name it test. So I reflect like after just now. You can give it a description if you guys want. This one is technically a description on what the repository is. So I could just tell here it's GitHub Workshop or anything you want. So it's either public or private. So private, you can see it on your own, or you could like choose who can see it. But public is like everyone on the internet can see it as long as they have the link. So I'm going to set it to public. And then this one is the add a README file. So I'm not going to do this because we already have a README file on our repo just now. And then git ignore, probably not important. Choose a license, also never use this, so it's not important. This one, courtesy thing, this one is more on the extension that you guys have on the GitHub. Most of you guys wouldn't have this unless you already install an extension. So now we're gonna create the repo. Okay, now we wait for a bit. Okay, so now we go to this, right? And then they got like this many command line. So what I need you guys to do is just follow the command line. So we already like have an existing repository, right? So this one applies to us. So what we need to do is, you guys see this link, right? It's unique to you guys. So for me, this is my my link. So I'm gonna like copy this, and then Control C for copy, and then you go to your command prompt, and then you just paste it. It's going to be git remote at origin and then your link. This is how you connect to it. Okay. And then you click enter. So now we are already connect to it. So now we're gonna like get. I'm just gonna like make sure I'm in the correct branch, which is master. So I'm gonna get git checkout master, or depends on what brand you want. So it already says it's already on master. So I'm on the right branch that I want it to be. So now, or you either can do this, or an easier way is just to on git branch. Oh, sorry about that. Git branch, and then it will also say your which branch are you on right now, which is master. We have like a new branch. Okay. Next is we want to push our master branch to our GitHub. Okay. So how you guys do that is by using git push -u origin master. So what this implies is you can use -u, but if you don't want to use -u, also can just git push origin master. But I'm using -u, so this becomes what do you call it? A shortcut. So if you guys put git push only in the command line, it will automatically refer to git push origin master without tapping the whole thing. Okay. I'm gonna click enter. Okay. So now we wait for a bit. Okay. So now there's like a lot of things going on our command line, right? But it's okay. This means it's working. Okay, now we go back to our GitHub and then we refresh. And then suddenly we have all the files from our repo. Like we didn't even like go to GitHub and then like add file, right? We just went to the command line. So it means like it works. Okay. So since we already did this, I want to go back to our VS Code and then like go on what do you call it? Test by, and I'm gonna add a new line, which is import game, and another one import py or something, anything you want. Your code lah. Anyways, and then what I need you guys to do is just Control S, and then I'm gonna like the message here. Just pause it. And then yeah, it's already like here, right? So now we are going to, oh wait, okay, never mind. I'm gonna like not put this here because I'm gonna simulate how another person could actually do stuff here. So I'm gonna like add code from GitHub directly. I'm gonna put import plugin and import import py. So from our this one, we only have import plugin, right? But on our GitHub, we have a new one, which is import py. So I'm gonna like copy the change. So this one you guys can say like anything you want. And already auto say like update test py. So I'm gonna like put a message there. I don't know, only import s.py, I guess. Edit import s.py py and s.py any message you want. So I'm gonna like put this, and this one you can give a description, but I'm not gonna give a description. So this one you can change which branch you want or create a new branch or commit directly. I'm gonna commit directly because I'm gonna show you guys how it works. So commit changes. So now it's saving and then we wait. Okay, now it already changes, right? So what happened here is there's nothing, no changes yet. So what we do is we need to pull the changes from GitHub to our local repo. So how you guys do that is git pull origin master. So git origin master, you're pulling from your master branch on GitHub technically. So you just click enter. And then when you click enter, you just saw it changing right now. Okay. But yeah. Sorry. So it says all this, blah, 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 fetch master, origin master, and all that. Okay, cool. So now, okay, I haven't updated yet. Probably I'm in the wrong repo.
Qaim, just commit your changes. That's all. Just
Oh
commit
yeah,
your changes and then
oh yeah.
okay, edit and then commit and then that's it. Pull.
Okay.
Okay. Just git add dot.
So sorry for this technical issue.
Okay. And then git commit and give any message you want.
Um,
Test, for example, or anything. Yeah, okay. Cool. Now then git pull now. Semicolon.
okay, now it works. So as you can see, yeah, it already updated here. It can change all this. This one is the important one. Import pygame, py. Okay. So it says that it's the same as this one, lah. But this one got a few details. So that is all for this part. So I'm going to continue on how to wait. All right, it's here. So the last part of our session today is hosting a static website with GitHub. So what's cool about GitHub is you can actually host a website on whatever you want. For me, I host my portfolio website. I'm not mistaken. I could send you guys there for shameless self promo. Let me show you. Okay, I think it's this one. Shameless self promo. Okay. I'm gonna send this to chat. Okay. If you guys want to check out my website, it's here. Just check it out. But yeah, I hosted it using GitHub. So I'm going to teach you guys how to host it. So what you guys need to do is we go here, VS Code. So we're going to open our folder. Wait, I'm going to make a new folder. So I put my the testing code and where is it? Okay, here. And then HT docs. It depends on where you put I put it here, but this one is only testing. So I'm going to click one of it up. Sorry. Okay, I'm gonna make a new one called, I don't know, workshop, I guess. GitHub Workshop. The contents are here. This is the contents that I want to be in my website. So I'm gonna just copy this and then put it here. Or move it, either way. Can also simply move it. Okay, so this one got all the contents that I want for my website that I wanted to host, right? So what we need to do is we go to VS Code, click on file, open folder, just like just now. But we're gonna go to the source of the thing that we want to host lah. So exam, htdocs, and mine was GitHub Workshop, I think. And then select this folder. And then it will say this thing, right? So what you guys need to do is you just click yes, I trust all this. I'm not sure if there's any security issues, but yeah, just click. And then everything got the code and all that I wanted to post, right? To host. And then what you guys need to do is there's a new, a more simpler way of using Git, which is this one. As you can see from on the left side, there's the Explorer, search, and then this one, source control. So here you can actually initialize repository and do anything with Git on this one, which is much more user friendly, but not as badass as this one lah. But then again, it's much more easier. Oh, I actually click on that. Okay, so what you guys need to do is initialize repository. So I initialize repository, right? So what I'm gonna do is here it says message, Control Enter to commit on master. So I'm gonna click on Control Enter, and then it says there are no state changes to commit. Blah 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 blah. Would you like to change blah blah blah? You just say yes. Click on yes or always, either way. So I can put a message here. I'm gonna put a website, a message called website to host. Okay. And I click on enter. Okay, now we wait. Here's the loading screen. So now it says publish. So now it says publish branch. So you just click on publish branch, and then it says here publish to GitHub private repository or publish to GitHub public repository. So if you want to host a website on GitHub, it must be public. So click on public repository, and it says here publish to GitHub uploading files. Okay, now we wait for a few minutes, I think. Okay, then. Now we can open our GitHub kit. We go to our main page here and our repository. And then it says here it just updated our repository on GitHub. So now I'm going here, and then you guys can rename your GitHub repository to anything you want. So I'm just gonna put here GDSC, GDSC website. Make sure it's close to each other. You know, it's like a domain name. It needs to be close to each other. All right. So this one repository. Most of the time you're not gonna use that. So you just click on rename. Okay. So now I'll go back here, but then it renames, right? So you go to settings. And then what you need to do is you go to pages, as I've shown you just now. So right here it says none. This one is the default one. So what you need to do is click on master. Now we wait. Okay. It's supposed to say like GitHub pages is enabled, and then like wait until it publishes. Wait, probably like a technical error again. Okay, now is the correct UI. I don't know what's wrong with GitHub today. Anyways, yeah, now you just save. We already branch master, and then root is technically the main file now. So you save. And now it says this one, your site is ready to be published at this link here. So what you guys need to do is you guys can open the link, but for now it says it's in blue, right? So it means like it haven't published yet. So if you open the link, it's going to say site not found 404. So now we need to wait until it's green. Probably takes like 2 minutes, I guess. Yesterday was 2 minutes, but I'm not sure what about today. But you guys can just like constantly refresh it. I'm going to send you guys this link. The thing is, you guys to see. Also, the link has the feedback form that I'm going to show you guys how to do. Yeah. Is it published yet? Not yet. Okay. Now we wait until it's
okay,
green.
guys. We wait until like our technology is ready.
It's usually not as bad as this. Yesterday it was much more quicker. I don't know what's wrong with today. It's a bit slow, but yeah, it works. Trust us. It works. We already tested it.
Too much pressure on GitHub today.
Yeah, true. Probably a lot of people are. Oh, now
okay,
it's
let's
already
go.
published. So you guys can click on the link on the chat. I'm gonna send it again. Yeah, you guys can click the link on the chat, and it will go to your website. Okay, it's gonna take some time because you just published a website, right? So it needs time to load. It is time to like warm up a bit. So it's gonna take some time. Usually it's just after this, after you've been like published for a long time, it's gonna be much more faster.
Very fast.
Tada! You guys can see it, right? Okay. So now you guys can see the workshop and all that. Okay, make sure to follow our Instagram, GDSC UPM, and if you guys have anything to say to us, can email us. And this is our LinkedIn, which I already connected it through the website. Tada, Google Developer Student Club. So it is an interactive website. This is the recent activities that we have done, and you guys can view our link tree for more of our social media and all that. And then here we have our feedback form that you guys need to fill in after this. Okay, wait, I'll send you guys the feedback form link. Send and copy. Shorten it. Copy, yeah. But you guys can go to the website also. Both are working. You just click here and then feedback form. Yeah, see, you guys just fill in the feedback form for us to evaluate ourselves. Okay. So here's the feedback form. And also you guys can connect with us, me, Koyim, Sajjad, our theory speaker, and Wahat's on the protocol part. So this is our tree LinkedIn. You guys can check it out. I'm going to leave this website online for you guys to check out. And also the GitHub for the code of the link, if I'm not mistaken. Okay. So that is all for our session. Thank you so much. And we're going to be answering questions now. So I'm going to like open the Slido. Oh, we have like 6 questions already. That's nice. If you guys still have any questions, you guys can ask using Slido. I'm going to send you guys the link again.
It's never too late, guys. It's never too late.
Never too late to ask any questions. Plus, we have a lot of time. We're supposed to end at 10, but it's like 9:38, so it's okay.
It's okay. We have still 20 minutes.
Okay, So the first question is, what's the difference between GitHub and GitLab?
Maybe it's better to like put the full screen one.
Where is it? Huh?
It's supposed to be somewhere here.
There's nothing here, so probably not. Anyways,
Oh,
yeah.
maybe in polls. Check polls.
Check what? Pause.
Polls on the. Okay, never mind. Maybe the 3 bars.
3 bars. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, never mind.
It's okay lah. All right. The first question. What's the difference between GitHub and GitLab? So you wanna answer this question, Sajjad?
Alright, sure. So, okay. 49 minutes ago. Okay, so GitHub and GitLab. So as I said before, GitHub and GitLab are a very same thing. They're in the same genre, but they're not the same thing. Like they're different providers. So basically different companies giving you the same service. Just like we have Apple and Samsung, both of them are giving you mobile phones. This GitHub and GitLab both give you like the same functionality to store your stuff, to store your code in the server. But GitLab gives you extra features. I think, I don't know where did I see GitLab, but you can definitely search GitLab and you can, just a moment, GitLab. Okay. Okay, so basically GitLab is like a platform, and instead of, so GitHub is for project management and seeing all of the code, and not project management, I mean project development and seeing all of the changes, the commits that have been done. And I think GitLab, from the description, I just saw it, it says that's just a platform to maintain and share and keep track of the DevOps. DevOps is the development operations or dev operations. And yeah, I hope this answer your question. Hope so.
All right, let's go to
Never used GitLab before. Should use it.
GitLab is technically just a more advanced version of GitHub, if I'm not mistaken. It got like more features, and you can also host your own website or your own source code using GitLab. Yeah, it's kind of the same as GitHub, but then like it
For
depends on your
hardcore
preference,
people.
I guess. Yeah, for hardcore people. Yeah, definitely. We're just like beginner level for now, so we're explaining on GitHub. Okay, anyways, the second question is, what is the advantage of using local folder compared to cloud? So this one, it depends, I guess. For me, like I would prefer cloud more better because it's much more easier for me to access. But then again, like for you doing development, right? It's not necessarily the files are very simple like the one we showed in the workshop. Usually, like for example, if I'm doing Flutter development, the code is very heavy, you know. So when the code is very heavy and then you want to back up it again to cloud every single time, it's gonna take a lot of time. So you're gonna get a bit annoyed by that. So I think that's the advantage of local folder. If it's like heavier files, then local folder is the way to go. But most of the time, after every development part that I'm doing or every development phase I'm doing, I'm gonna like put it on the cloud anyways, just in case. You know, you'll never know when your laptop will just like suddenly shut down and never open again, you know? So better be prepared because it happened to me once. Anyways, the third question is,
So the moral of the story is basically you give something and you sacrifice something. So if you want to have it on multiple devices, you're gonna have to sacrifice the speed and performance, where you need to pull from the cloud. It's gonna be slower than having it on the machine, where the processor and your hard disk, if it's HDD or SSD, I mean, SSD could be faster in retrieving, way faster than internet connection.
exactly. Okay, the third question. What language is used in Git? I'm not sure what are you replying to. Gitlish, I think. No, I'm joking. So like what language is used in Git is technically the Git commands, but I'm not sure if that's what you're referring to, but I think you're referring to what GitHub supports, right? I think lah. So it supports any language you want lah. If you want PHP, it's also support that. Dart, Flutter, Swift, anything. As long as it's
Anything
a
that has
project.
files,
Yeah, anything that has files, you can upload it on GitHub. Most probably. Okay.
And if like, how can I say it? Okay, so if you think that Git is a programming language, so you're way far off, because Git is just like a system, and in order to use the system you have to use the commands programmed or designed for the system in order to overall have control the version systems, the control the versions of your project, basically. Yeah, that's what Git is.
Okay. So next question is, can I delete files from Git without removing it from the file system? If I'm not mistaken, can, but I'm not sure how though. Do you know how? So is that
Okay, so can I delete the files from Git without removing it from the Git file system? Okay, so if you mean by file system local machine or the file navigation in your local computer, I think you definitely can. How can you remove from Git? Git is just the system.
yeah.
Okay, but let me tell you, if you do any changes in the folder that you initialized as Git previously, any changes, any modification, any addition of files and manipulation, it is going to be tracked by Git, and Git will know what happened. Git will know if it's deleted, if it's added, if it's modified, etc., etc. So I think you can delete them without changing the remote. Of course, you can do that, but then you will have it on your local machine. If you're gonna push it, it's gonna, just update in the remote repository, basically.
Yep. Okay, great. So next question is how to cancel a commit. Why do you want to cancel a commit though? I'm not sure if you can cancel a commit though. Once you commit, it's already inside the GitHub or like Git. It's already like there already. So I'm not sure
Actually,
what do you mean by canceling a commit.
let me answer that.
Actually, sorry, can I answer
Sure,
this?
sure, Wahid,
Go
sure.
ahead.
Go ahead.
I think we can cancel the commit by a command. It is git reset. We can use
Yep,
that command to
definitely.
reset. Yeah.
Correct.
Mm,
So git reset, basically explaining what just Wahaj said. So git reset is a command. And now, definitely, if you have any of these questions, you can just search it on Google and it will pop up as big as the screen is and tell you what is the command straight ahead, because this has been out for way too many long time. But basically, git reset takes you one step back. Like if you have your commit right here and you think that you did something wrong, or what you did you don't like it and you want to go back, you just git reset, and then it will just cut off the latest one, deletes it, and then goes back to the last checkpoint you made. Yeah, so git reset.
nice. Okay, so I never knew that because like I never used it because like if I want to commit something, I just like do it. And then like if I don't want it, I just delete and commit again. You know what I'm saying? Anyways, next question: where will the recording of the session be available? Okay, so we're gonna upload our session on our GDSC YouTube. So I'm gonna send the link on the WhatsApp group, I think, or you guys can just go on YouTube and just search up GDSC UPM if I'm not mistaken. Let's try it, doing it now. What is GDSC UPM? GDSC UPM. Yep, here is our channel. You guys can subscribe if you guys want. But yeah.
And subscribers.
Oh, 9 subscribers. Just now it was 8. Anyways,
Progress.
next
Evolution.
question is, how can I improve my coding? Mostly practice, I would say.
Practice.
But then, like,
100 times.
a tip I can give you, right? So if you know one right way and one simpler way to do it from the start, better for you to start the habit of doing the right way of coding, like making it, putting comments on it, making it much more object oriented, making it much more readable. Because like to be honest, for me, I struggle with like I'll just like type in anything I want. I was like, oh, this one works, and then like I'll clean it up later, but then I never clean it up because I was like, oh, it's done. I can submit now. Something like that. So better start from the start, doing the right thing from the start, rather than like saying to yourself like, oh, I'm gonna clean it up later. You're
Yeah,
not
I'm
gonna
gonna
clean
clear
it
it.
up later.
You can
Trust
never
me,
do
you're
it.
not. But yeah, that's how you improve coding now. Also, you guys can just use YouTube. If you want to learn a new language, you go to YouTube and just say like, oh, just Google and just search on YouTube the language that you want to learn, right? And then learn from there first. And then you see like if you like the language or not. If you like the language, probably go for a course that is paid. But most of the time, if you don't like if you start with a paid course, right, and then you have to go through that, and then suddenly, oh, I don't like this language. I don't want to do this.
Your
I don't like
money
it's gonna
is
be a
gone.
waste of money. So better for you to explore using free stuff first, and then proceed to paid stuff if you're going to that. Okay.
From my experience, I would tell you, I'd give you like one advice I would also give myself if I was gonna start all over again, is that if you want to like be a better programmer, first of all, you have to just understand. You might not like it, but you have to understand and have a good like a very, very detailed understanding of the fundamentals and the concept behind the programming language. Because if you don't understand the concept or the theory, you will not be able to use it and apply it correctly. So always make sure to. So what we're being taught in university is somehow
Relevant,
beneficial for
important
us.
lah. Although
It is
we don't want
important
to
for
like
us.
say it because like it seems so lame, you know, to admit that university is so useful, but it's kind of useful lah.
Useful in terms of
Especially,
theory, not applying and hands-on.
yeah, especially like on Java, right? Since we learn Java and UPM, so Java is an object-oriented language. So once you understand the object-oriented, right? If you go to another object-oriented language like PHP or something, the logic is there. It's the same thing, but it's just different syntax. As long as you know the syntax, but you get the logic, most of the time it's the same. But yeah. Okay. Now is the next one. How can I have more connections in LinkedIn? I'm not sure myself, to be honest. You're asking the wrong person. Let's ask like, who is he
Ask
here?
JD,
JD, are you
Bashir.
here? JD is like very popular, right? I think you guys already know him. Ho Jada, our MPP, our club leader, the guy who got like 500 plus connections on LinkedIn, if I'm not mistaken.
Captain
I only got
UPM.
like 160 something, I think. But then like I never post on LinkedIn because like it stresses me out. Is he here? Who are you here? Probably he's doing something important right now. But yeah, how you can have more connections in LinkedIn is promoting yourself lah. Promote yourself to your friends. Say like, oh, I have this LinkedIn. Can you guys like connect? Most of the time, I just do that. But also like, if you guys wanted to post something there, can also. But for me, I'm not sure what to post there, so I haven't posted anything there. But yeah, you guys can just like YouTube it. I think how
Guys,
to set up LinkedIn.
go for the easiest way, guys. Just open
Wow.
LinkedIn, open link, open LinkedIn, and then just whoever you see, just
Yeah, as long as
connect.
mix most of the time it's like it recommends you the same university, right? Just connect with them. They don't mind it. Most of the time, like I feel
It's
like,
not
oh, this guy
personal.
is
Trust me,
connecting
it's
with me,
not
or I just
personal.
knew this, something like that. Or like, oh, this junior is trying to connect with me. I'm quite happy with it. Anyways,
Yeah,
like what
and
should I post on LinkedIn? Depends, I would say. You can post like any progress you want, anything about your life. It technically it's social media, but like for professionals, right? So you can post like projects or anything you learn from class or assignments, anything. You can refer to JD's LinkedIn for what he posts. Probably can follow him lah. Okay, so I think that's all for all the Q&A session. So now we're going for our taking a picture session. So we're gonna take a picture of who enters here, and then we can end this session. Okay, everyone, can you guys like open your camera so that we can take a picture? Open your camera, guys. It's okay if you guys look like you just woke up because I just woke up also. So I'm quite hyper right now. Nice. I'll give you guys like 3 minutes, like 9:55.
We'll
We
give you
take a
guys
picture.
15 minutes to open your camera, so don't worry about that.
It's okay. It's a chill session. It's our last session, by the way.
It's our
So
last
you
session,
might,
guys.
you might see different faces for the next term. You might not see my handsome face for now. So yeah. Anyone else wants to open their cam?
Come on, guys.
Come on, guys. Only 6 people.
Last few minutes.
It's okay if you guys don't look good. It's okay. There it is.
Here's the businessman.
Yeah, we called you just now. Didn't answer. Anyone else?
Why is everybody sleeping? Wake up, guys. Wake up. It's time to school. Wake up.
Wait, I thought can have like the ask participants to open cam.
Wakey, 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 wakey. It's time for school. Wake up. Wake up, guys. It's 10 p.m. now.
You guys can go sleep later.
Alright, guys, if you don't open the camera, no merit. Done. Everybody open his camera.
Make sure to fill up the feedback form after this, okay? I'm gonna send the link again. Just in case anyone wants to.
Let's go. More people.
Hey, let's go. You guys look so handsome today. Or every day, I'm not sure.
Let's go. We have 2 people here.
Wow, 2 in 1. Nice. Anyone else? 1 more minute until we take a picture. You guys can open your cam. Yeah. After this, you guys can fill up the feedback form and you guys can go to the website that I posted just now. I'll send the link again. If you guys want to check out on GDSC, our link tree and all our socials and connect with us, trade from the web app development also can using the navigation bar. So, okay, it's 9:55 now. I'm going to take a screenshot.
All right, just take it.
1, 2, 3. Okay. Wait, is it working? Okay, wait, huh? Right. Okay, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay, freestyle. 1, 2, 3. 3, 3, 3. Okay, nice. All right, Aaron, it's so cute. Okay. That is all for this session. Make sure to fill up your feedback form to get like merits, I think. And probably, I'm not so sure, but yeah, merits. And that is all for us for tonight. You guys can like leave the meet for now. Bye-bye, everyone.
Thank you very much, guys.
Good night.
Good night.
Have fun.
Part of the journey is
Have a
the
fun
end, guys.
weekend,
Part
though.
of the journey is the end.
Oh, they're leaving so fast. Bye bye.
Stop recording, guys. Stop recording.
It's okay, guys. You guys can go sleep now. Bye. Bye bye. All right.
Sleepy,
You're
sleepy, sleepy,
welcome.
sleepy. Time to sleep. Can I stop recording now? Don't make it too big.
Oh, yeah.